yesterday I did a talk, and then I did a trailer at the end. Who was here to watch the trailer yesterday? Did anyone see it? Yep. Did you all like it? Okay, thank you. 2 months of work actually went into that trailer. Hellions is around here somewhere. He's a genius filmmaker. If you ever want to do some video work, reach out to that guy. He's brilliant. We like the music selection, the image selection, the script, that we wanted to make people feel what the book was going to be about. Now, I'm talking about a trailer because I'm actually going to put on another trailer. I'm going to take this thing off. I'm going to put on another trailer in a minute at the beginning of this talk. Okay, it's not going to be as good as yesterday's one, but it'll give you a sense for what the hell this Satlantis thing is going to be all about. So I'm going to put this on. Enjoy the trailer. All right, that should give you a little bit of a flavor of what we're going to talk about. Thank you. So I've been a nomad for 5 years. I've actually settled down now. Me and my wife, we live somewhere stable now. I think nomading is a good little period of your life that you go through. But the world is moving more and more towards this sort of digital nomad stuff and seeing the world and trying new places and going where you're treated best. But the internet itself hasn't caught up with that. It's caught up in some ways, but in really discombobulated ways. So I like to tell people, like, going on a journey used to be this exciting process. But now, when you want to go somewhere, you're on TripAdvisor, you're bookmarking things on Instagram, you're searching on Google, you're on Booking.com, you're in like 10,000 different places, and like the process is stressful. Like, it used to be about discovering new places, and now it's about like sifting through all the fake reviews and all the bullshit, right? It used to be a social experience, and in fact, travel is supposed to be a social experience. And what's happening is these days, more and more people are finding themselves traveling alone. And I see this a lot in the West, actually. I live in Latin America these days. You go into Latin America, and people are actually waiting for their families to arrive. In the West, Uber is waiting for you, which is a little bit lonely. I believe what we need is less and less notifications and apps and silos and accounts that we need to work with. We need a little bit more connection. And what's interesting is that the globalists, the world in general, is pushing for this, globalism by decree, top-down, WEF, yada, 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 right? But on the other side, there's this groundswell of activity that is grassroots. Things like, the network state, the sovereign individual, digital nomads, which is actually giving rise to an entirely new way to live. These days, I think it's 5 years ago, there was maybe 4, 5, 6 million people who considered themselves digital nomads or travelers or Bitcoiners and all this sort of stuff. I'm not sure what the Bitcoin number was, but that is now like 35, 40 million people around the world are traveling. They're going to where they're treated best. There's literal passport bros going around teaching you how to get passports and get married to a Latina and all this sort of stuff. And if you look at the digital nomads in general, it would be the 41st largest or the 40th largest country in the world. And what's interesting is how many of them are Bitcoiners and how many of them are going to become Bitcoiners soon. Now, all of these people, as I mentioned before, where do they go to discover new places, to find new communities, to figure out what merchant to go to meet new people, to have new experiences? They're on Google, Twitter, TripAdvisor, Nomad List, Tinder, Telegram, all of these different apps. So we realized that they all suck. And we wanted to build something kind of new. And many of you may or may not have seen this out in the Nostr booth. This is the desktop view of Satlantis. And we wanted to build something where people could connect both in the digital space and the physical space. So some sort of bridge between the two. And a good way to think about it, and this is something I'd like generally people to think about in the Nostr space. I'm trying to push the narrative of, let's get out of, we need to build a Twitter for Nostr, or a Pinterest for Nostr, or an Instagram for Nostr. No. We want to see how we can blend a bunch of different ideas. When you think back about what Facebook was, for example, when it first came out, there wasn't really, what was Facebook? Now people might say, oh, it's the Facebook for X, right? But beforehand, it was something fundamentally new, and that's really where I think the opportunity is in this Nostr space, is that we can build something fundamentally new. And this sort of slide, my shitty attempt at creating a multi-Venn diagram, but what we're trying to do with Satlantis is something that is like a blend of the Instagram experience in terms of profile, a blend of Google Maps in terms of places, a blend of TripAdvisor in terms of reviews and places you want to go to, and a blend of Meetup.com, which, I don't know how many of you are out here, but I hate Meetup.com. It's like the worst platform in the world, but we want to build that in there as well. But do it all on Nostr, and build almost like a prototype of how the network state might one day operate. Now, very, 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 very importantly, and as we've just discussed on this panel, we didn't want to build another silo that owns your data, that owns your account, that owns your audience, that owns everything, right? And you just rent it, because you're not supposed to be the product. You want to use the product. And, I think Pablo actually posted this of like, you got to have an account here, you got to have a strategy here, you got to have a this. And I think these days are almost over. Like, using Nostr on Satlantis means it's your profile, your audience, your data, your ID. And in fact, let me just get a sense. Who's got a Nostr account here already? Like, okay, quite a few people. Well, guess what? You're already on Primal, you're already on Iris, you're already on Highlighter, and you're already on Satlantis. You just need to, I even hate the word log in. You don't even need to log in. You just need to unlock your account. And that's what makes this thing so powerful. So I guess I don't have a name for what we're doing yet. We're calling it like a location-centric social network, or we're calling it a travel and community social network. We'll figure out what the hell it is as we go. But the beauty of it is, being location-centric means that, unlike a normal social network, you don't have to just follow people. You can follow places, you can follow a city, you can follow a neighborhood, you can follow a merchant. You could even follow this conference on Satlantis, so you can stay up to date with what's happening, what's cool, all this sort of stuff. And the product has like a couple different facets to it. The piece that we're launching with, which is available right now, is what we're calling the city directory, right? You land on a city page. So imagine like a city or a neighborhood or a place can now finally have a home page, almost like a website. You can find scores, you can find chats, so that, like there could be chats about Madeira mums or expats or Bitcoiners or surfers or whatever sort of category you want. You've got events, you've got merchants, you've got a gallery, you've got all of the people here. So instead of someone messaging you randomly from a Bitcoin app and saying, hey, you want to get coffee, like they can actually connect with you directly on here, and you can see that they're on Nostr, who's following them, etc. You can connect, you can chat, you can do all of these things. And I don't know if anyone's ever like gone to a new Bitcoin city and been like, hey, who's the person I need to connect with over there? And you get them to link you up on Telegram. You message someone on Telegram, they don't message you back. You go into the city, they message you back after you left the city. You're like, oh fuck, I wanted to figure out what to do. It's like, it's all discombobulated at the moment. Now we have a city directory where we can do all this. But at the same time as being a directory, it is also a social network. So what we're building at the moment is the mobile experience. So Satlantis is only available on web at the moment, but the mobile experience will allow you to create content, post content, build an audience, connect with people. As I said, follow people and places. You'll have your global feed, which will be an aggregate of the places you follow, the people you follow, the merchants you like, the things you reviewed, etc. And it's going to look and feel very much like Instagram. And then we have our little crown jewel at the moment, which will be, I kind of consider this like really, really interesting. It's a merchant map with merchants from every city. So it's like Google Maps, but on Nostr. And what's special about this is that every business can now build an audience, they can get reviews, they can host their links, and at some stage they'll have their products, their services, all that sort of stuff on one profile. Like at the moment, there's this cafe that opened up around the corner from our place in Brazil where we live. They have 117,000 followers on Instagram, and they just opened their 5th location, and they have 3 reviews on Google. Like it completely doesn't make any sense. Now, merchants can actually have one place where they can have all of this stuff. Their profile, their reviews. And the best thing about the reviews, as we were discussing earlier on the panel here, is that they are web of trust influenced. So if I follow you and you've reviewed the place, I'm more likely to see that first before I see all the other irrelevant junk that doesn't matter to me. So I'd like to sort of cap this off with just a bit of a vision, is right now, travel and the online way we travel and how we discover it, it's all static. You go on TripAdvisor, or you go on any blog, or you go on any like Nomad list, whatever. Everything is static. We all see the same thing. In my opinion, in the future, if we do this right, if Nostr is built right, if people like us come out and build things like Satlantis, in the future, you're not going to go to TripAdvisor or Google to figure out what's going on. You go to Satlantis, and you will see the city through your lens. If you're a surfer, if you're a health nut, you will see content, events, merchants, stuff like that pop up into the city that is relevant to you. If you're a Bitcoiner, you'll see something different. Each of us will have a dynamic experience on the cities we're on. And in fact, one of the cool things, Gigi told me about this about Nostr, and it's just such a great idea, is you could take somebody else's NPub, somebody you follow, someone you respect, or someone you want to know about, and with their NPub, with their public key, you can log in, and you can see the world or the city through their eyes without actually having control over the account. So Nostr opens up like a really powerful, like a lens on the world. So to wrap this up, people have asked, how do I sign up? Well, if you're already on Nostr, you're already on there, right? The way to do that, you can actually do it through Fedi. So if you've got Fedi, you just add Satlantis as a mod, one click, log in, you're there. If you're on desktop, you just need an extension, you can go, you can log in, you're there. We don't have a mobile app yet, but there's something really cool you can do, which is also the magic of Nostr, is you can get on Primal, and I encourage all of you guys to do this while you're in Prague. Go out there. Prague is a gorgeous city. Go take a photo of a restaurant, of a farmer's market, or you're going on a run, or the beautiful architecture. And as long as you hashtag Prague or hashtag the city that you're in, your content from Primal or from Damus or from Iris or from Amethyst, from whatever other application, whatever city you hashtag, it'll populate that city page on Satlantis. So that's the kind of stuff you guys can do. In the coming weeks, months, etc., we're going to be rolling out the mobile app. We're going to be rolling out more features, making events more robust, rolling out the merchant feature, and all this sort of stuff. So it's really early days, as we just said. Like Satlantis is still a half-baked baby, but it's coming, it's getting there. I'd love you all to try it. This is the first time I've actually announced. We've been working on this for 6 months, and this is the first opportunity we've got to bring it to the public and to have people go out there and give it a spin. So there's some QR codes up there. I mean, it's really easy. If you just go to satlantis.io, you'll find it. You can follow us on all the social medias, and I'd like to just leave you with one last message, which is go and touch some grass, right? It's time for us to connect with real people and bridge online and physical space. So thank you very much.